right, we're going to review tables today because my in-class kids are going to continue working on correcting that assignment. I know some of you have waited, but that's okay. So we're going to look at our tables. So I'm on page 26 of our journal, and we're going to look at our y-intercept from tables first. So our y-intercept from a table is across from 0. Cross from 0. Now sometimes I have to work a little bit to get the cross from 0. Across from 0, across from 0. It's always going to be right across from 0 in my table. So when x is 0, whatever my y value is my y-intercept. Now sometimes my tables aren't very pretty, or they may not have the 0 on that. They might have skipped right over it. For instance, -1, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. And I can see that it doesn't have the 1. I mean the 0. And there were some of those like that on your assignment. But you can see that 0 is halfway between these two. So it's going to be halfway between these two. So halfway between -1 and 0, -1 and 1 is 0. And halfway between 5 and 7 is 6. Okay, we'll look at some other examples of finding your y-intercepts or matching these after we look at finding our slope from a table, which is on page 28. We did a whole bunch of these. We spent a whole day on it because it's a little bit more challenging. You're going to do your change in y over change in x. Change in y over change in x. So I'm going to look at how did my y's change. Stick it over my x. Change by -1. Change by 2 becomes -1/2. Changed by 4. Changed by -1. 4 over -1. Okay? So we're going to practice doing a few of these. So I've attached this sheet. Again, I'm not having you turn it in. So it is, if you want to just watch and pay attention, that's fine. So we're going to look. Y-intercept across from 0 is 0. Our slope, so +1, +3. So we're going to look at our change in y over our change in x. Our change in y was 3. Our change in x was 1. So my slope was 3. My equation is y equals mx plus b, where m is my slope. So I'm going to replace that m with a 3. And my y-intercept is my b. So this also can be written at y equals 3x. Alright, let's look at another one. Across from my 0. So now I'm going to look at my change in y over my change in x. +1, +1. So we have 1 over 1, which is a slope of 1. Y equals my m, which is just 1x, plus my b, which is 4. Which is the same as y equals x plus 4. We've talked about this, that if there's nothing in front of that x, it's the same as 1. Alright, let's look at number 3. Across from my 0 is 0. My slope, so my change in y over my change in x, +1, -2. So -2 over 1, which is just a -2. So y equals -2x. And we can include the +0, but really it's just going to be -2x. Sorry, I feel like I'm going a little too fast today. I'll slow down on the last ones. All right, let's look at the next one. My y-intercept is across from 0. It is not always the first line. I know it's been that way in the last 4 examples, but it's not always. To find my slope, it's my change in y over my change in x. So plus 1 minus 5. So negative 5 over 1, which is just negative 5. Formula is mx plus b, so y equals m, negative 5x plus b, or this could be written as y equals negative 5x minus 5. All right, let's look at number 5. I actually want you to try number 5 by yourself. I'm going to freeze it on this, and I'm going to let you see if you can find the slope, the y-intercept, and the equation. All right. Hopefully that was enough time. If you need more time, go ahead and freeze the video. So y-intercept is 0. Change in y over change in x, plus 2, plus 1. So 1 over 2. So my equation is y equals 1/2 x, and I don't have to put that plus 0. All right, let's look at number 6. I want you to try number 6 by yourself. I'll give you a minute. All right, so cross where my 0 was negative 12. Change in y over change in x. X is changing by plus 1. Y is changing by negative 6. So negative 6 over 1 is just a negative 6. So y equals negative 6x minus 12, or plus a negative 12. Both of them are correct. All right. We're going to be flipping to the back to do a couple more examples. If you want to just do it on a piece of paper, that's fine. You're not turning this into me. All right, so I flipped over to the back. What I've done is I've gotten one table, and I've gotten 3 answer choices, because this is what you're doing on your assignment for corrections. So first of all, obviously there's no 0. Some of you might be able to figure out it's halfway here, so to be halfway here. That's okay. But I do want you to say all of them you can find the slope. So what I would have done is I would have gone to all of the tables, and I would have found the slope for every table. And so I'm going to go ahead and do it for this one. So this is plus 4. This is plus 8. So my change in y over my change in x would be 8 over 4, which is 2. So any equation that did not have a 2 in this spot would be wrong. So that one's wrong. Okay, from there, okay, so now I need to look and I go, okay, my 0 is between these two. So it's going to be between 5 and 13. Well, 3 is not between 5 and 13. So no, that one's wrong. But 9 is. So another way to do it is pick a point. So I'm going to pick a positive point. And this has an x of 6. I know it's 6 because it's in the x column. And a y of 21. So I'm going to take this equation. Y equals 2x plus 9. And I'm going to erase the y. I'm going to erase the x. I'm going to put it in parentheses. And I'm going to work it out. So this side's 21. 2 times 6 is 12. 12 plus 9 is 21, so it equals, so this equation matched that point, and so it's correct. So when you're doing that matching, if there's no y-intercept, I would go through and do all the ones that have a y-intercept though. All the ones that have that 0, I would solve those first. And then I'd go through and I'd find the slope of all of them. And then I'd either use some common sense for some of them or start plugging some of them in, which of course you can use a calculator for. Okay, so if I look at another one, another thing is they weren't always consistent on your which is okay. Alright, so obviously there's not a 0 again, but I can go ahead and find my slope. So I'll go ahead and find my slope. And honestly, the 0 here is pretty impossible to figure out. Well, not impossible, I'm not going to say that, sorry, wrong word. It's a little bit more challenging for an 8th grader to find out, which that's okay. So we have plus 5 here. You'll see we have a plus 3 and a plus 3 here. Plus 5, plus 3. Plus 3. And all I have to do is pick one that's on the same level. So my change in y over my change in x is 3 over 3, which is 1. Even if I'd picked this level, 5 over 5 is still going to be 1. So it's going to be 1x, or just x, plus what, though? Now, see, for me here, I know 0 is going to be somewhere between here. So I'm going to guess that this is either going to be, well, I know it's either going to be 1, 2, 3, or 4. So that might help me eliminate quite a bit of answers. Actually, most of your answers it's going to help you. You can also check this on the graph. Go check these points and see if it matches a graph. That works too. The tables are a little more challenging. It's okay. That's why we have a whole day just to working on those tables and fixing our tables. Of course, if you have any questions, ask me. This one, I can go ahead and plug it in if I want to. So I can pick a point. I like to pick a positive one, honestly. So I have an x of 7 and y of 8. And I don't know what this plus is going to be, so I'm going to leave it as a b. So I'm going to plug in my y, which is 8. Plug in my x. So 7 plus what is going to give me 8? 1. So the answer is, this equation was y equals x plus 1. Alright, so no, the tables are challenging. Of course, if you have questions, please ask me. Today, tomorrow, or you have today also because you're not in class, we're going to work on correcting the table portion and bringing those grades up. Some of you also, if you want to know your average in my class, you can email me, or if you want to know if there's any way to bring up your grade, you can email me also. We do have a couple of announcement progress reports of this week. I believe they've been mailing them home, so you'll probably be looking at the end of the week, maybe beginning of next week to get yours. If you want to know your grade in my class, email me. I will send you what your grade is. I have grade strips. Grades are pretty up to date right now for me. You can also, on Friday, there's a journal test. You need to be sure you have journal pages 21 to 30. They will be taken down. They will not be available to you online. So please be sure you have those together. Next week, we're going to be taking a test over y-intercept, slope, graphing, and tables. It'll probably be next Thursday or Friday. And then the week after that, you will have semester exams. Semester exams count for 10% of your grade in this class. And each day you will have a different semester exam, that will be given to you. I don't know the online schedule yet. Mr. Hawks, I need to get with him and figure out how we're doing it. But every day you'll probably have 2 tests you have to take. They'll both count as 10% of your grade in that class. There will be a review sheet. And we'll be doing a review video also for this class. If you have any questions on that and what's left of this semester, please let me know. Most of you at home are doing pretty well. So keep up the good work. If you have questions or want to improve your grade, please let me know. Send me an email. Things have been kind of crazy around here, but I am trying to get to emails as quickly as I can. God bless you, and y'all have a great day. As always, send me your questions.